sleeping on my city. Don't be 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 how we get down. Don't be sleeping on my city. Don't be sleeping on my city. Don't be sleeping on my city.
What it do? It's your boy Bodine, and you are now tuned into another episode of StlVsErrbody. I have a very special guest, talented guest, nice with the hands, nice with the feet. Brittney Cloudy, aka Quiet Storm MMA.
Yes.
What's up?
Thank
How are
you for
you?
the introduction. I am good.
It's cool, man. It's for the people that don't know, that's not familiar. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Who is Brittney Cloudy?
Let's see. Start with the usual. St. Louis native. I'm an athlete. Done sports all my life. Basketball in high school, track in high school. I went to St. Louis University. I ran track there. After that, I got into MMA. Did MMA after that. And I've been in MMA for about 7 years now, competing. So sports have just always been my thing. Professionally in the background, I was an elementary school teacher, got my bachelor's in that, and then later on got my master's in counseling. So now I'm a mental health therapist alongside of training MMA.
Bet. We're gonna cover all that. So you said you always been an athlete. What sports did you play growing up? I know track was one, right?
Yeah. Well, my first love, honestly, was basketball.
Okay.
So I played basketball since 5th grade, all the way up to high school, and track. And so those were my two main sports. So I really did track to stay in shape for basketball season. And I ended up sticking with track into college. So.
Did you win any awards, like track or basketball?
Yeah. It's kind of hard. I don't really remember like our team sports and things like that when it comes to basketball, but I've definitely racked up some accolades in track. As far as conference, my main events were long jump and triple jump. So I won conference every year in triple jump.
It's dope.
And maybe 2 of the years long jump. So like 10 conference champ.
Okay,
accolades.
10 times.
Yeah, and made it to the NCAA regional qualifier track meet every year.
Is that a big thing?
It's like the first meet going on to like the NCAA finals.
Oh.
So there's the regional meet and then there's the finals. So I made it to the regional meet all 4 years.
And you went to SLU? Okay. How did those sports help with MMA?
They literally are it has become what made me great. What makes me great in MMA. Just by being long, fast, I have good footwork, good agility, I have great explosiveness, all of the strength training from track, and just the mindset, honestly, being a student athlete and doing all those 6 a.m. conditionings and just training on the grind, going to class, that has just transitioned over into MMA. So if I'm not going to class, I'm going to work, still have that mindset of still getting in my workouts, still thinking about my body and being able to perform at my highest level.
That probably helps with like your stamina too. I know it's like when you fight, I don't never see you like long-winded. You're pretty cool and calm.
Yeah. What's kind of funny is that like I dreaded running in track because I just did the triple jump and long jump. So I did short sprints, but I never really enjoyed really running for long periods of time. But since doing MMA, it kind of forced me to have to run a lot longer. Yeah. So I've started putting in miles, and my conditioning has gotten so much better. And I've learned to love to run too.
Did you do like boxing?
No, before I got into it, no. I had never done any combative sports before I started MMA.
What got you into MMA?
So at the time, Charles Johnson, he was also a track athlete too. We both ran track, and he was fighting, and I was going to his fights and watching it just as a spectator. And I was still doing track though, so I was learning about the sports and just being a spectator on that side of it. And when I decided that I was finished with track, I was like, my competitive spirit just had me wanting to try something else. So once I got into it, I just never stopped.
It's dope. Why the nickname quiet storm.
That's funny. One of my friends actually helped me to figure it out. It's obviously a play on my name, Cloudy, which I've grown to really enjoy
Gotcha.
my name. I used to have a friend in high school call me Stormy too, so that was kind of funny. My whole high school coach would call me the opposite and call me Sunny, so I've gotten a lot of weather nicknames.
Okay.
So the quiet storm part though comes from more so my personality. I'm a pretty quiet, introverted person.
Quiet and laid back.
Yeah, and so that kind of stems with that. But at the same time, I do have some.
When it's time to
I got
let out that,
it's another level.
let out that thunder.
Yeah.
Who are some of your martial arts influences?
I would say generally speaking, because it seems like there's just new fighters always coming in, right? And the pool is constantly changing.
And it can be like actual fighters or like movie stars, you know, like people say Jackie Chan or Van Damme, stuff like that. So it could be like within both spectrums.
Okay. Well, I guess first I will say that I enjoy like seeing new fighters who have my same attributes. So fighters who are like tall and long. So you got the starting up at Anderson Silva to Adesanya to John Jones. On the women's side, you know, Nunes, Holly Holmes. Like fighters that I see attributes of myself in, I really enjoy watching them fight. I like Rose's mentality when she came back and won the first championship. I just like seeing people who I see myself in, seeing how they use their tools, and you know, finding new creative ways to use mine.
For sure. Who's your favorite fighter right now?
I guess I'm rooting for Nunes to make a comeback for her for the title.
Yeah.
I was really kind of sad about how that happened. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a big upset.
Yeah, I know. I really felt like she was like nobody was gonna beat her. So, but I like everything that she possessed, and I'm looking forward to seeing her get back in there.
For sure. Why is it important for women to learn self-defense?
I can talk about that for a while.
We got time. We ain't got that much time. We got time.
Would you like my essay? And I was playing. Well, I think for women, just in society, if you just think about history, that we're the ones who are taking care of the kids, being at home, the nurturers, not necessarily the bronze, the muscle. And things have changed drastically in so many aspects, even in like professional. And I feel like this is one of those things where it's a space that we wouldn't naturally have gravitated to, but here we are, and it's starting to blossom to show like this strength that women have. And when you get into it, it's empowering to have that sense of ability to have security for yourself and knowing what to do. So it kind of helps you look at the world in a different way.
Yeah.
Instead of having maybe a more timid look of, I'm not so sure about certain situations, it gives you this mentality of like, I got it. And I really think that every woman, every child too, should learn self-defense.
It'll probably make a perpetrator think twice too if they approach somebody and they see that, oh, she not backing down. Let me rethink, you know what I'm saying, swinging on her or grabbing her.
Or I think it'll just naturally just change how people act anyway.
Yeah.
We live in a society where people just do a lot of talking, and there's this level of calmness of you don't even put yourself in situations anymore because you have gained this, you have been a part of this lifestyle that you understand the consequences of getting into that kind of engagement. So once you learn that and you know both sides of it, you're less likely to put yourself in situations that you actually need to be in, you know?
So you was moving up in the ranks in education. You said you got your master's, but you put that aside to pursue MMA. So how difficult was that decision to do that? You making a set amount every year, you know what I'm saying? You got stability, and then you just put all that aside. So you know what, I'm about to, pursue my dream and try to, make it as a pro in this sport.
Yeah. When I think about it, it still makes me feel like, oh my goodness, that was such a, because it was more so I was feeling the energy of everyone around me when I told my coworkers that I was quitting my job and moving to California to go live in a fighter house and go and fight, because it's like, what? But at the time it was like, I know that this kind of lifestyle will always be here. But what I don't know is how long will I have the opportunity to do what I've been wanting to do first and foremost, which is be an athlete. It was one of those things where, okay, so I'm going to balance it out. I'm going to be logical and see how I can make this work, like with life and planning and things like that. But then the other part of it is like instinctual, intuitive. Can I invest into myself? And that was big for me. I was like, this is for me. I don't want to have regrets. And so when I put it like that, it's like, all right, well, if I can make it work, do it. Not everybody would, I would say, enjoy that kind of lifestyle of taking away that stability, because that has been very difficult.
I was about to ask, like, how difficult has it been? You don't got to go into, deep detail, but like, how difficult has it been, not having like a 9 to 5 to fall back on?
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like, we talk about like being resilient and adversity and things like that. The struggle makes you stronger and all of that. I feel like I've already been living that, so I'm not distant from what it's like to grind and not have things the way that you want it sometimes. And I try to look at it in a positive of, this is making me a stronger person.
Yeah.
And having faith that I might not have everything that I want and need right now, but what I'm doing right now daily is leading me to a life that I want, that will be 10 times better than the incremental life that I would have been living if I would have just played it safe. Life's about taking risks sometimes. I get a little buzz out of it just by doing some new stuff, and it has opened my mind. It has allowed me to have opportunities that I would never have had, and talk and meet so many different people. So it's been challenging in that aspect, but the positives that come with it keep me balanced.
It's good, man. A lot of people talk, that talk saying, forget a 9 to 5, chase your dreams, but when the bills pile up, they panic. So what's some advice can you give people that's in a similar position? Like, did this chasing your dream, did this help you become better at budgeting, and not living above your means and stuff like that?
I feel like, if anything, it just made me be more grateful for the simple things in life. As far as advice, I would say, although it looks like, oh man, I just quit my job and went to chase my dream, there's tons and tons and tons of planning that went behind it as well. Preparing for the future financially, saving money, finding different work to do, so it was all in the plan.
Okay, and that's smart.
But then the pandemic happened. I didn't plan for that.
Yeah, that was a curveball.
I know, but that's the other thing. When you do take risks and when you do put yourself in a situation to where you don't have that stability, you always have to account for the unknowns, unknowns that you can't even predict. And then having that ability to be able to adapt and not panic and be flexible and keep finding ways to that's going to keep you on that path to the same goal. Like, I had to come back home from California because of the pandemic. That wasn't a part of my plan. If I had it my way, I'll still be in California training. I could have been like, oh man, it all went to crap now, it's over. But I came back home. I had to be uncomfortable in that moment because I wanted to be doing something else. But I had to just find something else to work on and focus on at that time.
Yeah.
So I've been going back and forth between putting a lot of energy and effort into the dream of training, and then also going back and working on my other professional things that I also am working on. So I went back studying for that exam to get my license and things like that. And then focus on working to stack more money. So in those time periods, it wasn't just, I was just living the dream all the time. There was valleys and peaks. There was times where I had to switch gears and focus on something else because I wasn't in a position to be able to make the moves that I wanted to do at the time. So it's all a part of it. You just stick to it, roll with the punches, as they say.
That's the part that they don't, glorify, or broadcast to the people. Like the ups and downs. I think that's very admirable that you stuck with it. A lot of people wouldn't have stuck with it, especially in this economy that we're in.
I know.
You know what I mean? So like a lot of people would have just been like, shoot, I'm going back to work.
Yeah.
And
I've definitely thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
I was like,
but
maybe I should.
Things are like, because you decided to just stick with what you're doing, you got opportunities to fight on different leagues and other things in the future, that's popping for you.
Yeah.
So on that note, who is your toughest opponent and why?
I feel like every fight that I've had just keeps getting the stakes raised, they higher, and This last opponent has been the toughest challenge yet. I'm gonna tell you, like, it's mostly just those body kicks. She has some really hard body kicks, and she wasn't stopping. There's moments in fight where you can see that person break a little bit because they got hit and it hurt, and then they're not as aggressive anymore. Well, that just gave her more fuel to her fire, and I gotta respect that. It was like, okay, so I'm here with someone else who's right here with me.
Yeah.
Like, we here to do this. And so I learned a lot from that fight. That was definitely the hardest fight. It gave me some things to walk away with that I need to work on and be better at. So when I get in there next time, get that win.
For sure. What's an average day for you regards to like training? You train once a day, you train twice, 2 a day, 3 a day, eating patterns. What do you do to like get in the best top shape for the Quiet Storm?
Okay. I'm gonna paint myself in the picture of being in a space where I have everything needed, that I have everything that I need. When I'm in fight camp, I'm training. I'm even in and out of fight camp. I'm doing something at least 6 days a week. Maybe it's more cardio and lifting and things on my own outside of fight camp and just technique. But in camp, it's a lot more drilling, a lot more hands-on, a lot more pad work, a lot more fight simulated strategies. From going to just MMA classes to individual technique classes, live rolls, doing cardio on my own, doing strength and conditioning as well on the side, bag work, and which usually accompanies with 2 trainers a day. When I was in California, we had 2 sessions a day, 4 days. We had a hard sparring day and a track day, and then Sunday was like our off day. And outside of that, I would still also go run for like weight management and things. So it's a full-time job.
When you say hard sparring, like y'all really like y'all fighting like y'all fighting in the ring?
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's educated sparring. You can go hard, but that comes with like also experience. There's some people who don't know how to bring the right pressure with certain people, because if they're inexperienced,
they just swinging,
they just
trying
going
to knock
hard
you
and
out.
really trying to hurt each other. And when I say hard sparring, that's not what I mean. Like you're trying to take somebody out. You're being technical, but you're also aware of the experience of this other person. And you can be fast and sharp and precise without throwing all your power into something.
Yeah.
And that's something that not everybody learns. But
a lot of new guys at the gym, when they spar, they just trying to, they just swinging crazy.
yeah.
I was talking to a homie at the gym the other day, because he one of them that do that. It's bad, but it's also kind of good, because that's how people on the street
for sure.
are going to fight.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of learn to adapt to, you know what I'm saying, that stuff. But yeah, that stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it makes it easier to hit you when you are very aggressively just wild.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a part of the journey of learning. Like, in the beginning, your instincts are like, you know, you're just very fidgety, and you just resort to like, oh, let me just use strength, until you gain more technique and knowledge and knowing how to like mentally be calm and all of that. It's like it's a lot more than just the physical. That's one of the things I love about fighting, is like, it's not just challenging you physically, it's challenging you mentally, emotionally, because if you're that kind of emotional person where somebody gets under your skin easily and they're pulling stuff out of you, they're gonna defeat you. You know, you have to play chess, so you gotta be intellectual, you know? So it's like a holistic little tap-in sport for me.
Were you always so calm? Like when you first started, were you one of the people that was just, you know, swinging crazy? Or was you just, you know, you was calm and took your time?
I looked like that person too when I first started. I think about boxing, my first boxing match. It was kind of crazy. They like made it 1 minute rounds, and I remember like I just was like throwing windmill punches, because I couldn't remember to keep my hands in my face.
Keep your guard up,
so
Brittney,
it was
keep it
like,
up.
you know, you just loading everything up and swinging it. But that's, you know, that's the beginning, because
that's everybody.
Yeah, but I've gotten a lot better, so I'm a lot more calm.
What do you be thinking about when you be fighting? Because like, you just, even if a person hit you with a good shot, you just be like, all right.
I'm playing poker, because I don't want them to know that they hurt me.
Do you be like, damn, this bitch hit the shit out of me?
Well,
sorry, Mom. We can curse, but yeah, my bad.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Like that last fight, I went back and rewatched my fight, because I wanted to know like how much did I show on my face, because
you showed nothing.
Nothing, okay. Because I knew, because there was this one body kick, and I can point it out in my fight, because I can tell when it was, that it was one of those, it wasn't hard enough to drop me immediately, because I've gotten dropped by body shops before, but it was one of those where your organs just seized up on you for a moment, and it's just like, ugh. So my goal is definitely, you get nothing out of this, because I don't, especially for those kind of fighters who feed off of trying to make you make a mistake. For me, I don't really look at people's faces. I'm just tracking their shoulders and their body, and I'm just trying to stay moving. So it's like a dance. It's like I got this rhythm that I'm trying to keep with. I'm watching you, and we're dancing, and it's literally the dance. So that's where I'm at. And your coaches and people on the outside are there to help you, to gauge you, like, all right, you're moving really good, you're doing the right things, or hey, maybe something is there that maybe you haven't connected on or seen. And so that's the art part of it, is where you get to, you know, how you want to boogie, you know. So that's what I'm thinking about, is how am I gonna, you know, slide, you know, get a little something in there and get myself out.
On another note, do you miss the classroom?
I got back into subbing this year, because I was like, why haven't I thought about this whole time? Like, I could be subbing and seeing, you know, getting my little kid fixed too, without having to take on all of the stresses of teaching. I do want in the beginning when I left, I was like, I needed a break, so I was fine. But after a while, I was missing the classroom, because I was missing like the kids. I was missing all of their little hugs and all their little notes they write me, and that's one of the like best parts of teaching that I got, is like the love that I get from my students and the relationships that we have. And now I'm just getting punched and hit on all the time. Nobody's hugging me.
They hugging you, but not the type
they're
of
not
hug you
hugging
want,
me
though.
like that. So the softness, and I kind of missed that. So it was nice to go back and sub and see some kids who I've taught before and things like that. So trying to keep a little balance in life.
What made you want to become a teacher?
I remember I took this cadet teaching class in high school my junior year. I really liked math. I was good at algebra. And so I was a cadet teacher in that class. And it was this one student who I explained how to do something. She was like, "Oh my God, you explained that so much better. I get it." and I was like, "Oh," and it made me feel like, oh, I made a connection with somebody who they weren't able to get it from somewhere else, but they got it from me. And I didn't think that I did anything spectacular, but it changed how she felt about it. And that moment made me feel like, oh, I really liked how that felt. I felt like, is this something that I could be good at? And it turned out to be that I am good at, able to, teaching, and then also the relationship part of it, of making those connections with students. And they're like,
it's very important. That I tell teachers all the time, in order to have classroom management, you gotta connect with your kids. That should be the first thing you establish the first week or two, building that relationship, and then the rest of the year, it's gonna be ran smoother. It ain't gonna be an easy street because kids are kids, but it's gonna be, smoother than it would be if y'all don't got no relationship.
Right.
A couple more questions, then we're gonna get up out of here.
Okay.
So you're also a social worker. How important is mental health?
Well, I want to.
Oh, I'm sorry, not social worker, counselor.
Yeah, they do a lot of casework. I ain't trying to do all of that.
Yeah.
But to add on to it, we were just talking about the relationships part. That's what rolls over into therapy, is all about relationships. So when I'm seeing clients, for me, people won't trust you if they don't feel comfortable with you.
Yeah.
And so I just want to establish and create a good connection with that person, to let them know that it's a safe space to, work on whatever it is they're working on. It is mental health awareness month.
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
So, of course, mental health matters. How important is it? I think that we are finally opening our eyes as a society of how your mental health can impair your life if you don't take notice to it. We've always been really good about go to the doctor and check on your physical, and maybe there hasn't been a lot of knowledge and emphasis put into the social sciences, which is the psychology of people. And with the pandemic and everything and social media and technology, we have started to see those consequences of certain things that we do and we put into our minds, or how life is, and it's led people to be very anxious, a lot of depression and things like that. And I feel like people are feeling more comfortable to actually be able to talk about it out loud. The more we talk about it, the more people feel comfortable to feel okay to say, yeah, I need some help in that area. And for me, I come from a standpoint of, it's not just about mental health. I'm more of a holistic health person, because everything's connected. Nothing is separate from something. Your physical affects your mental too, how you're taking care of your body, what you're eating impacts hormones and everything in your brain that makes you feel good. So what you're eating, you're exercising, that plays a part in your mental health. Your mental health plays a part on your physical. So there's this connection between these things, your body and mind. There's a great book I'm reading, The Body Keeps Score, as they talk about how trauma is stored in your body, and there's a lot of yoga informed therapy, and people are trying to work. My
chiropractor told me that when I went to the chiropractor, and she looked at my eyes, and she said, "You stressed out." I was like, "How can you tell?" I said, "I ain't stressed out. What you talking about?" So I'm looking at your eyes, and you're stressed out. I was like, "How can you tell I'm stressed out through my eyes?" She's like, "Your body, you know what I'm saying? I guess she knew it's different points or different places in the body that shows that you're stressed out. Even like pain in your back or tension, certain places, it shows that it's stress related, not necessarily like physical stuff, but like stress can build up in different places.
Yeah.
So that's some deep stuff.
It's really, really real. So just a part of like with all of that is keeping in touch and in contact with not just your physical, but your mental, and seeing how all these things interact and play a part into your wellness, like socially, financially, intellectually, mentally, all of those aspects, parts of you, all contribute to your wellness. And it's like a domino effect. They all affect each other. And so it's very important to spend that time addressing all of those areas of your life, of your wellness.
Yeah. Does listening to your clients' stories help you with your mental health and everything? Like, do you listen to somebody and be like, dang, man, like, okay, the stuff I'm tripping off of, it ain't even that serious?
If anything, it's more like I feel seen by hearing someone else's story too. It's that sense of connectedness, like you're a complete stranger before we met, and I understand our situations aren't the same, but I feel it, like there's something that we have managed to find a connection on, and that alone like helps with that relationship, because a lot of times people are just wanting to feel not alone in their struggle and their suffering. And for me, just internally, I just hear people's things that they say, and I'm like, oh man, I've said that before. And so it's just that piece that reminds me that we're all human, and that we all go through different things, and we're all, you know, faced with this similar challenges and trying to do the same thing in life.
Yeah. So what's next for The Quiet Storm?
Well, we talked about it earlier about like, you know, sticking to the dream, and like, you know, one person could have quit or whatever like that. I'm literally at another stage of my career where I'm about to do another leap, to say. So I've been kind of like cross-training back and forth in Houston and here, just because of like the bodies and the different training dynamics, and it's been really challenging to get everything that I need in one place. So after this fight, I was like, all right, I can't keep trying to like, you know, make the best out of what I have. I need to put myself in a place where I have everything I need, so that won't be something that I say after a fight, after I lost. I want to know that I have everything and I've done everything to be successful. So I'm planning to move and relocate, go down to H-Town where it's hot, because I don't like the women either.
H-Town?
Yay. So I'm excited about new work opportunities too, and continuing and furthering my MMA career down there, getting the training, getting some more fights, and, you know, getting back to that like fighter life grind, because I kind of feel like I haven't been able to be like that here, like how I was in California. Like literally I was just training. So I'm hoping to like get back to being in those spaces where I literally see the people at the gym more than I see like work.
It's
people.
like a job.
It is like my job.
That's your coworkers.
Yeah, like I'm ready to have like that, because I haven't really had that since I've been back.
Do you feel St. Louis, like although St. Louis, we have, I think like the best talent with everything. We got great fighters, musicians, people in technology, doctors, whatever.
Yeah.
But people always feel that they gotta move
Yeah.
in order to, you know, establish a better career, and that's with multiple professions. Why do you think that? Is like lack of resources?
I think it's a combination of things. Like, we have great things here, like you said. There are very talented people here, yes. And I know the whole like grass isn't always greener everywhere, but a lot of times there is a lot more available in like bigger cities and other places, depending on what your avenue is, right? But when it comes to like I guess, just fighting in St. Louis, I think it's about timing and alignment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when the right things come together, right opportunities, right situations
Yeah.
that can actually be put together here, that could actually bring people together to create something, put all this talent in one room, to say. When we're able to do that, I really feel like that's going to make give St. Louis a sparkle.
Yeah.
Of someone's like, oh man, they got something in St. Louis, right? So it's one of those things, like getting everything aligned to create that, because we have the talent before everybody's gone. But even still, we have the ability to do that. It's just a matter of like, how many hands can we get in to make it happen?
Yeah.
And for me, St. Louis will always be home. I have visions and thoughts and plans of what I would like to do coming back.
For sure.
So if right now I have to go because my career right now is saying I need to do this now and I can't wait, I have to listen to that.
Most definitely.
And let me get to where I'm going to get to. And then I'll be able to come back and do the other things that I want to do.
Plus the rest of the world got to see how dope you are. So, give a gem for the dream chasers out there. What's a word of advice that you can give them?
You said the dream chasers?
The dream chasers.
Man, like I said before, I was going to give my teacher advice. Is be thorough, be a planner. Talk to people around you who are wise and who support you. Talk to people who are in your field, who have done it, who are doing it. Gain information, gain knowledge. Always be a learner. You don't want to just do anything wholeheartedly without doing your research. But make a plan for yourself. Vision board it out. These are the steps that you need to take in order to obtain this goal.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you need to talk to in those pieces? Have some security plans underneath that of like, how do I prepare myself if some things go left? Once you have those things in place, go for it. You know, and don't stop investing in yourself, because there's always going to be hiccups along the way.
Yeah.
You know, keep the end in mind and stick to it.
For sure.
And trust your gut and your intuition. You know, if you're not ready to quit at it, then don't. Like if you know that it's the end of the rope for something, you will know. Because that's all. I'm also not saying that where you should like just keep doing something even if it's like completely like tearing your life apart. You know, like you also have to have that realism of this really isn't working anymore, right? So you have to be practical too. So everything's about balance, really. For
sure. Well, it was a pleasure to have you. Before you take off and do great things elsewhere, where can people find you at? I
am on all of the social media platforms. The Quiet Storm _MMA on Instagram and Twitter. I don't tweet that much, but I'll try to be better. I do have a YouTube channel too, but actually I'm going to put it in the air because this is one of the things I'm working on, and you told me this too, working on my content, but I have some stuff that I've been brainstorming and I really want to put out. I also have my kind of self-help therapy page at The Mental Fight on Instagram as well. That's where most of this good content is going to come, because I really believe that we're all fighting the fight of life, and there's so many crossovers of life and fighting where, you know, it's very applicable, and use it for motivation to keep going.
For sure. Well, make sure y'all check out Brittney Cloudy, aka The Quiet Storm, YouTube. Her name, she got plenty of fights up for y'all to check out. You know what I'm saying? If you think you can go toe to toe with her, you know what I'm saying, at her. And you know, if you a formidable foe, you know, she may, you know, accept the challenge. Other than that, this is Bo Dean, STL vs. Everybody, signing out. Y'all be cool.